In this lesson, I'm going to show you a great way to stretch outside the box on a blues using the Lydian dominant scale. We'll play over a couple of very common styles of blues, and I'll show you how understanding this scale can really help you break out of your normal blues vocabulary. My name is Jack Ruch. Welcome to my channel. Let's get into it. So I've talked a lot on this channel about ways we can break outside of our normal blues vocabulary, going from the 1 chord to the 4 chord in a blues, using things like the altered scale and the half whole diminished scale. And these are great sounds to use over functioning dominant chords where we have a 5-to-1 resolution. But what about if we have a non-functioning dominant chord, for instance, like the 4 chord in a blues? For this, I really like to use the Lydian dominant scale. Now, this Lydian dominant scale is a major scale, but with a raised 4th degree and a flat 7th degree. So if we play a regular C major scale, we're going to raise that 4th note up a half step, just like the Lydian scale, and then drop the 7th down a half step to give us a flat 7, just like a dominant scale. So, Lydian, dominant. Now this scale is derived from the melodic minor scale. In fact, it's the 4th mode of the melodic minor scale. So if we play G melodic minor, but we start on the 4th note, D, and play that same series of notes, we get this D Lydian dominant scale. Right, so with that information in mind, now we can use any of our arpeggios derived from melodic minor. Now, if you're new to this idea, I did a lesson going a little bit more in depth on these arpeggios, and I'll put the link down in the description so you can check that out. But my favorite of these arpeggios is the minor major 9 arpeggio. So if we're playing C Lydian dominant, that means we would use a G minor major 9 arpeggio, right? And that would be the root G, the 9, the minor 3rd, the 5th, and then the major 7th, right? And we can play that in this position and play these kind of things like, right? Really nice sounds to outline that melodic minor sound. So now I'm going to play over a basic 12-bar blues shuffle in the key of G. And when we come to the 4 chord, the C7 chord, I'm going to use that G minor major 9 arpeggio to flesh out this C Lydian dominant sound. Check it out. Okay, so that's pretty cool, but it sounds a bit like we're just running up an arpeggio shape. So now let's break it up a little bit and add a little space and try again. Check this out. So one thing I love to do with these arpeggio style lines in a blues like this is to actually play the A flat minor major 9 arpeggio over the G7 chord to give us a G altered dominant sound, and then move the same exact phrase down a half step over the 4 chord to give us that C Lydian dominant sound. So something like, right, that over G, and then move that same type of phrase down a half step. So. Right, this is something you can hear Grant Green do on the tune Number 1 Green Street. So I'll play over the track again and try something like that. Check it out. Okay, so now that we've got a few options for different lines we can use using this Lydian dominant scale, one of the things I love to practice is try taking these lines and applying them to different types of grooves in different tempos, and then of course moving them around in different keys. So we did a blues shuffle. Now let's do another super common style of blues, and we will do like a 12/8 slow blues, and we'll move up to the key of A, and we'll play these same types of lines over the 4 chord. Now of course our phrasing is going to change a little bit with more space in the measure. We're going to have to change the way we phrase these ideas, but I'm going to play through this track a few times and use some similar lines we used over the shuffle, but just change them around a little bit, and you can see how they fit in this different application. Check it out. So this is a great sound to add to your blues playing, another tool to put in your back pocket that you can use to stretch out a little bit and add to your vocabulary. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and come join me over on my Patreon page for more lesson content. As always, thank you guys for watching and happy practicing. Take care.